your cell phone. It's time to do a show, chum.
Good morning, Inland Empire. LA.
Wow, this is
All
crazy.
the ships at sea.
Man, it just feels so. It still feels new here. I mean, to us, it is. You know?
It is.
New location. We're trying to get used to everything. It's so scary when there's no engineer, but you see the little mouse arrow going around. Bernard is controlling this from his house, man.
Bernard is not.
Isn't that crazy?
Bernard is not unlike the villain Thanos.
And you and I are like,
bugs, man.
We're technology challenge or whatever. You know, we don't look at all this crazy buttons and everything, man.
Welcome to the future.
And we are in the air. We are in the air. We are on the air. Wow. So we haven't done that too very many shows since we've been here, but
no, we haven't.
We've been October's such a busy month.
October is a busy month. I mean, it's busy.
It's busy. I mean, we've done a few things together. We've gone to Jim Ojala's Strange Nature movie.
We did.
Which he had a autograph, the DVD, Dark Delicacies.
We should have Jim on talking about the show. I invited him. He said he'd love to. So
and then Boobs and Blood. Can you tell us about that? Your adventure?
Yeah, Boobs and Blood is great. Boobs and Blood is done with my friend Miles Flanagan, and Miles is from England, and he's a bit of an impresario. He puts on the LA Animation Festival.
That's the gentleman that I met that we were hanging out with at Sheena Metal Show. Right?
Exactly. Wonderful guy. Wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah.
Miles is Miles. We did the first one several years ago at Quentin Tarantino's new theater, the New Beverly.
Uh-huh.
It's not his new theater. He's had it a while, but so we had it there. And it was great, you know. The parking was difficult, but I interviewed Christine Wynn. I interviewed the Suicide Girls at the original one.
Yes.
So this one, we did something called Scream Queen-a-thon. Miles and I helped Miles put on the Hollywood Horror Fest in August, where Alan Howarth, who does all the music for the John Carpenter movies, Alan Howarth, he did all the voices for creatures in the first 6 Star Trek movies.
Wow.
He's also doing the music and the growling for me as Bigfoot in Hoax when that comes out.
Wow.
So, you know, he does a lot of creature sounds, he does a lot of music.
So he can...
Yeah, so we did, in August, we did the 30th anniversary of They Live. And Alan, who did the score for They Live, came in and he did an hour of his music. And more importantly, he told stories. We had him, the editor of They Live, and we had Whitney Bain, who was a PA on They Live.
Oh, my God, Whitney was there.
Remember Whitney at the Classic Conventions? So Whitney, all the stories were pretty legit. And then Whitney would tell his stories, which were, as per Whitney Bain's stories, pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah. He's got some good ones, man.
You know, he's
over the last 25 years.
He's on Shout Factory talking about the time he almost fought James Cameron.
Oh, my God.
On Roger Corman's. But on this, he told how he was hitting on Meg Foster and trying to go out with her.
Wow, Meg Foster. That's Evelyn from
Masters of the Universe.
Yes.
But Whitney, you can't argue with a confident man. Whitney was a lowly PA or first AD, and he's hitting on the leading lady. That's hilarious.
We always he's known for he collects a lot of scripts and stuff from movies that he's been involved with, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was on the Corman movies with Cameron and his crew, you know?
So Miles they asked you to be the moderator for the panel, right?
Right. I did Scream Queen-a-thon, which was fantastic. It was just fantastic. Holly Fields, Christine Wynn.
We gotta get them on the show.
Holly Fields, Christine Wynn, Beverly Hartley Randall, Beverly from Return of the Living Dead. You know?
Oh yes.
Lead girl, wonderful.
Lisa Dowling.
Alyssa Dowling. You know what? I miss Alyssa. If you're listening, I'm so sorry I missed your birthday karaoke on. I had an addition and everything. I was trying to get. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where, and I didn't regret it until I saw she came dressed as the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. Then I regretted it even more.
What about Max was there? Max
The magical Max Wassa was there. Yeah. She was wonderful. It was, let's see, Christine, Holly, Beverly. Hang on here. Don't say anything. Christine, Holly, Beverly. Hold on. Alyssa. Come on, all 6 girls. Hold on.
Seemed like there were more than that. The photos that I saw.
Yeah, it was 6 wonderful Scream Queens. Hold on. There's 2 more that haven't been accounted for yet.
So they talked about all their movies? What?
Wishmaster? Wishmaster 2, of course.
Wishmaster 2.
But the great thing is, hold on, I got 2 more Scream Queens. Asun. You've met her before. Asun was the star of New Nuns with Big Guns.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful girl, showed up, great stories, and there's one more girl. I had 6 or 7 Scream Queens. I'm going to mention them all. You know what I mean? But it was a great event. It raised money for a breast cancer charity. I think Susan G. Coleman, and it was cool. I mean, all weekend long, we just had a great time. I was interviewed by Ivana Cadaver, and it was just a lot of fun,
Was this a weekend thing? A Saturday, Sunday? Was it a 2-day thing?
Friday, Saturday.
Oh, Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday. So,
so it was later on Friday in the evening. And
it was Friday
went
evening,
to the night.
and then Saturday. The great thing is, it was a great turnout. Miles found this club, the Mayflower Club, a British club in North Hollywood. We packed the joint all weekend. He's right. Sunday night was just Saturday night was a complete blast. We had Bridget Berlin came in as Skeletor. Bridget is the cosplayer who does.
You mean she was a sexy version, female version of Skeletor?
Yes.
Skeletorette.
And her hot friend Rachel came in as Eva Lynn.
Oh man, that must have been good.
We gave an award, Woman of the Year, Cosplayer Woman of the Year to Bridget. She was very funny, very cool. And Bridget's adorable. Bridget and Rachel were very sexy and very funny. And again, a great turnout, cool people. Jeff Gunn was there. I was really pleased to say, I give an award to Jeffrey Reddick, who created Final Destination.
Oh, wow.
And he told the story and how he came up with Final Destination.
Our buddy Dan Roebuck was in Final Destination, but how many movies were there of that?
Oh, man, like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a series of them.
Yes.
And I remember Dan Roebuck being one of the cops.
Well, they kept bringing Dan back because they killed off everyone else.
Because he was like on the case, right? Trying to, when it was raining, the guys got electrocuted in the house, and he'd always show up and like, oh gosh, another one, but I remember he was in several of them.
Oh yeah, but because they killed so many characters off, they kept bringing them back,
Yeah.
Because they were running out of people.
Right. They had to bring new people to kill.
Yeah, once you kill off enough people, I mean,
you want to keep the franchise going. You got to bring in new victims.
And he had a great story. He'd originally written Final Destination as an episode of X-Files.
Wow.
And the X-Files people read it and basically told him, this is too good to waste on an episode of X-Files.
Let's just do it all by itself,
right?
Man, and see how it shakes out, man.
Exactamundo. And that's pretty much how it went.
Yeah, because they were pretty clever. I liked all the way that the many ways that and it surprised you. Like at the end of the movie, where everything's good, we're safe. And
they always did that, yeah.
You see a bolt jiggle loose or a spark in a wire, like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? It's like the game Mousetrap where something hits something else.
Yeah, no.
It hits that.
Yeah, like the Rube Goldberg Mousetrap, essentially.
And then you're sitting there, and then, bam, you're having coffee and a donut and outside on the cafe.
And then you're done.
And then you're like, look who's here, man. It's Ben, Frank, and Roy getting all royed up. Let's get all
Frank
royed up.
and Roy the boy. Ben Frank, welcome aboard. Roy, get over here.
Howdy, how's it going?
While you guys,
Ben Frank.
While you guys aren't as hot as our next guest, Betty Beware, not as easy on the eyes.
You're going to see Councilwoman candidate
Tammy Rapp, a.k.a. her superhero name.
A.k.a. Betty Beware. who is a burlesque performer as well as a promoter doing her own shows.
And Ben Frank is the son of another guest.
Joanne Ledesma. That's her boy. That's her baby
her
boy.
pride and joy. We're away the boy. Here we go.
We look alike.
Oh.
Exactly alike.
Now, isn't Paul Frank your dad, the guy who makes the sock monkey stuff and the artwork?
Nope, that is not true.
Not related. I had to throw
I'd
that
expect
in
you to be a snappier dresser if you were.
I do not have a monkey's uncle.
Oh, bum, bum.
Not related to Anne Frank either.
No.
Oh,
You remind me of a guy that he was in a film with that he killed in a movie. It looks a little like Brian Thompson, doesn't he?
a little bit. You just insulted him.
Oh.
He's trying to tell you look like the killer in Cobra.
Kill the weak so the strong survive.
I can see a mild reference, but no, this is a handsome fellow. So I mean, so is Brian, but you know what I mean.
And he plays drums.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
chicks. You dazzle. Hey, drummers, dazzle chicks. Learn how to play the drums.
I also like to promote the fact that he's a trained mixed martial artist as well.
Wow.
He does,
All right.
When he's not, rocking the skins. He's
So,
choking
Jeff-
dudes.
Jeff is talking a lot of ass. You can take it up with him in the parking lot.
Oh my God! I'm glad we don't have a ring here.
Careful though, he's a bleeder.
Oh, the cage is down below.
See, you stupidly walked into Jeff's dojo.
Yeah, my dojo at home looks the same too. I just got a bunch of microphones and a home studio thing going.
Really?
Now Ben, you grew up in the business. I mean, your whole family has been about music, right?
I mean, yeah, I have a 30 years of vinyl DJ as an aunt. I have an uncle that's a songbook on the bass, another one that's a songbook on the guitar, and my mom's been more on the business side of
the
things.
publishing.
Yeah,
But your mom is smart
licensing.
because she'll talk about needle drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she knows the lingo, she knows the vocabulary. She's gotten me some gigs like writing music and stuff after I got out of school, like my audio degree and stuff.
You did the Power Rangers theme. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Introduce yourself, by the way. Say your name nice and loud.
Back in 2011.
That's not your name.
Oh, my name is Ben Drix Frank.
There we go.
Now, Drix is that's your DJ name or
Yeah, it's sort of the name I adopted. Because when I started playing guitar when I was 12, I would play a lot of Hendrix songs, and one of my uncles was like, "Oh, who do you think you are, Hendrix?" So
Vendrix. That's pretty funny.
Drix. Oh,
Yeah.
it's all coming together now
Yeah,
because it
actually-
sounds so techno.
who would have thought? It's actually from this hippie that used to play guitar.
I thought it was a reference to Osmosis Jones.
Oh, that's a good one as well, though. Sometimes I've gotten that. But, yeah.
Wow.
It's actually because I started playing guitar when I was 12. And
Have you been to Jimi Hendrix's grave?
No, not yet. No, I haven't. Never made it up north.
It is in Redmond, Washington, but I believe it was since bought by the now dead Paul Allen,
Oh, wow.
who wanted to inter him in the Rock and Roll Museum, that ugly building at the end of the end of the. Everyone calls it what the Space Needle threw up. So.
Trying to make the
Right on.
Now I'm a big Power Rangers fan. You know.
He is,
Yeah,
because
I-
he's
I am
mental.
too.
I've met all the old school Rangers up to the new ones, which
He was-
there's too many to remember.
He was arrested for stalking Rita Repulsa.
Yeah. I wonder what she looks like. I hope she's under all that makeup and.
Under all that makeup, he sounds like any obsessed fan, doesn't he?
Yeah, like a girl just crawled out of the moon.
Yeah.
Putty Patrol, man. Hit him in the Z spot. You could have been a putty. You could have been a Power Ranger monster.
Actually, the great thing about the Power Ranger, I talked to stuntmen who used to do it. The Power Rangers used to shoot in like Griffith Park.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they
Simi
tried
Valley
match,
too, right?
and they were famous for just putting anybody in the outfits. And some of the monsters would get kicked in the junk by the girls.
Oh, yeah.
They'd run up and just kick the stuntmen as hard as they could in the junk.
Not exactly trained professional.
Yeah, you're in a squid costume, so it doesn't really matter.
I was always told that the original Go Go Power Rangers, the song with the guitar.
Yeah.
Was that Yngwie Malmsteen or is someone giving me just pulling my leg on
I
that?
heard it was Buckethead, actually.
Buckethead.
Oh, I don't know which room.
He's
it
a
was.
local Claremont guy.
Actually, I know Buckethead. I will check that rumor out. I will ask Buckethead. I think he would have told me if you were the Power Rangers, but maybe not.
Yeah, that's usually not something you want to hide, that you can shred like that,
So what's the story? How did you get this Power Ranger mix, this song. How did you get involved in? And this was the latest movie, right? The Power Rangers movie.
No. This was for me. This is kind of old news. This was back in 2011. At the time, it was like the greatest thing I had done. But like I've done a lot other cool stuff since then. But it was basically through a friend of my mom's that we ran into at the NAMM show one year, where like everybody just sort of meets and congregates, and he's like, "Oh, I got this new gig working for Saban, and we might need some dubstep. Joanne, do you know anybody who can make some dubstep?" And I was like,
Why, yes!
There's this kid who's
I
in his
carried this
bedroom all
one
day."
dubstepper for 18 hours.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, and that's when I really sort of adopted the name Drix, because I needed just sort of like a DJ alias and stuff. And I was like, this sounds dubstep enough, and it's actually quite true to my story or whatever. So I've been DJing under that name for that amount of time.
Wow, good old Drix.
Yep. Yeah, and then I got I've known Roy for about 10 years, and this lineup with Casuous is like the first time we've actually gotten to play together in a band. So we just put out our first EP, I guess you would call it. We're calling it Dismal Year, and me, him, and our buddy Dave, who we've also known for 10 years, finally get to like write some songs. And me and Dave have been in bands for a while, so throughout like me DJing, doing work for hires, writing songs and stuff, like I've always just wanted to like pick up my guitar and just like punk rock out,
Yeah.
I actually met you while you were doing all that DJ stuff and doing your Power Ranger songs, and I met Ben and Dave when they were in a band Full Tank to Mexico.
Wow, great title. Full Tank. What a great band name. Full
If you
Tank
want
to
to make it there,
Mexico.
you better have a full tank.
Yeah, no, the backstory was we had killed someone, nameless, anonymous, and we were on our way to Mexico with a full tank of gas. That was sort of the story behind that band. All false, all of it just a lie.
It's a good thing you got this warrior to protect everybody.
Yeah.
I showed up, and they were playing at a skate shop in Ontario, and I saw Dave playing the bass. I was like, dude, this guy fucking rips. They recruited him for my band, so he came to play with me, and then, long story short, a bunch
Socialized
of shit
crucifixion. And
That was the name. Well, that
I
was
still to this day.
the name of the
love
band
that
was Socialized Crucifix, not toy guitar.
No. This is we're nowhere near the toy guitar.
That's a really cool shirt, man.
Really cool band, man. You should check them out.
How would you describe them as crusty?
Socialized?
Yeah.
Yeah, like definitely like hardcore punk, hardcore crust punk, that kind of shit. So, long story short, all of our bands fell apart, and we saw the opportunity to get together. Like, hey, you're a musician. It'd be cool if you could play together. I want to play together, and here we are now.
And what is your new band called? The Two Cools?
Casuist.
What?
Casuist.
Casual. What does that mean?
It's
Sounds Polish.
somebody who uses like unsound reasoning to sort of rationalize like poor decision making and like bad judgment.
So it's a real word.
It is a real,
And that you
real word.
stumped this guy because he
Yeah,
was a substitute teacher in the English department.
Although Bad Judgment would be a much better band name, I think. Casual's a little unpronounceable and sounds like Kasabian.
Yeah, we get sometimes we've gotten like the casuals, the casualists, the not the casualties, but
Not yet, anyway.
No,
Casual. That sounds like a female emo band or something.
no,
Casuist.
we try a little harder than that.
Yes.
It's a tongue twister.
I don't know how to. You know what? You got the thumb drive. You're the engineer. I told you that me and this guy are just like stupid in here, and Bernard gets us on the air.
Bernard is the man behind the plan.
And there's a headphone set in there, and the board, the mixing board is right there with our microphones and everything labeled. If
You want me to go in there and just start messing around with
go
stuff?
in there and see if
Until you start hearing like punk, and then all of a sudden,
we can
Game Over,
hook
man.
some music.
Game over, man.
You know what we used to do? At the other radio, at the other station, I took the turntable cord, and then it had an adapter
I can do an aux deal too.
to plug in.
Hang on.
That board was in there, and I would plug it in. How did I do that?
Let me just get to the end of every story Jeff ever tells. And then I'll fold it up. Everything went kablooey.
Another radio friend from What's a radio? Lyle! Hey, Lyle, come in and help us work the board here. Can you figure this out, man? Go take a look. I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna.
We gotta take your headphones off first, genius.
Ben's
So,
this electronics.
while Ben is fixing it, Roy, why don't we get a little out of you? How long have you been doing MMA?
Oh man. Well, I mostly do jiu-jitsu right now, but I've been doing martial arts like 10 years maybe.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It keeps my head straight.
Wow, what got you into it?
When I'm not boozing and cruising.
Of course.
Man, just wanted like a healthy outlet. Like when you do a lot of music, I mean, you are surrounded with a lot of fucking alcohol and partying and shit like that, and after a while, it just kind of burns you out. So I just needed something that was like a more mentally stable outlet for me, so I can just kind of level out and not get swept up in boozing.
Can you do that like hand thing and send shards of Jeff's nose into his brain?
I could, but I don't want to fuck up your studio.
I've been looking for
there's other shows besides mine, right?
I'm hoping if you kill Jeff Sargent, Betty can become my new co-host. Rapping with Janki is the new name of the show.
When do these fighters actually make money? Where are the ranks and what kind of levels?
Man, I'm more of a amateur practitioner. I just do it for fun, and just to get some shit off my chest. But some of these guys, man, I mean, you roll with them. These fighters, it's
Mr. October off. This morning is kicking my ass. Jeff, your name's in the tunnel. Say
this
something.
cable here, underneath here, the turntable.
And the microphone. I'm grabbing water. The robot was controlled.
We're trying. We don't know how to hook this up. I have to go over this with Bernard. When we get guests, they want to play their music. And they got that little thing called a flash drive.
Oh yeah.
And
Dropbox link or
Dropbox
one of our
link.
things. You know, just give me your emails. We'll give it.
So what do we tell our listeners that want to check out Casuous?
Yeah, we're trying to be all over that. I brought a guitar actually.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
It is an acoustic.
You bring any drumsticks and you can just beat on his hollow head.
I'm still waiting for him to kick your ugly face in.
I love it, man.
I think our readers would, our listeners.
It echoes like a big 26-inch bass drum.
Our listeners would really love you to put your foot through that melon head.
Yeah.
Try to keep in the public domain, fellas.
More of a hip.
What's the longest you've ever grown your hair?
Pretend you're a hippie in Vietnam.
Oh, dude. Probably down to my shoulders when I was like 17.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, I had hair down to my I always try to maintain like a mohawk, but like a mohawk that you hide.
Wow, yeah.
You can bring this mohawk into a job and
Like a
give that man a raise. Raise his mohawk as well.
That mohawk saved our company.
Yes. Yeah, and then as a DJ, you know, I gotta put headphones on. Sooner, can't call.
Yeah.
Headphones on.
Because even if you went like this or like that, it's still there. I mean, it's still
Yeah, like I've gotten in some
unless
bars.
you do like a dead mouse thing or something like this. Have lenses.
I had that hawk once, and like there was 2 cars. It's not safe practice. I'm one of these very conservative.
You can't wear it at Disneyland. You end up popping kids' balloons with your spikes.
So you're not a classic. You're not a classic original punk like Green Day.
I wasn't. Yes, like Green Day.
Your mother is weeping.
No, man,
Blink-182.
My dad actually was he used to live on the East Coast. Stuff like that. Not everybody that went to Minus Retro traded. And but he joined the army to come out here to get out of middle of nowhere farm town Pennsylvania.
By the way, more power to him.
Yeah,
from being from the Midwest.
They threw him at Edwards Air Force Base out in the Canada's Valley, outside of Pittsburgh, all that high desert.
Wow.
So he's like, it's closer to LA, so that's better. But he said hardcore.
Because Antelope Valley, you mean he was at 29 Palms or Antelope Valley by Simi Valley?
I don't know.
The Disney Ranch.
Him and my mom met in college, San Bernardino, and I was born at St. Bernardino.
Are you serious? I went to Cal State. They went to CSUSB?
I think so.
By the way, no offense to you, but you're not as beautiful a baby as the most beautiful baby conceived by Cal State San Bernardino resident, Danny Belston, and co-created Rachel Belston, allegedly on campus.
Hey, Robert Lee Hale says, no Green Day.
No.
Hey, Robert, get your ass in here.
Robert, get your ass in here.
Be the third wheel, man.
No.
Some Green Day's cool.
Oh, yeah, the Dookie.
Screw you. Some Green Day is cool. I'm going to tell an MMA fighter who can kick my ass up and down the block that Green Day is not cool. I think society will back me on this.
Skink breath, man, that song fucking rips.
You know, whatever gets a kid into music nowadays, though, you know. Like,
Yeah.
It can be terrible, but you know, just listen to some songs and start being creative, man. You don't need a tutor for Fortnite. Like, you should just get good at the game, okay? Like,
wow.
That's how we used to play video games.
Inspired.
Yeah, you know, I did all the. I made the sculptures for the characters in Fortnite for the PAX convention.
Oh, they're
we
paying
did a
you for
9-hole
skins?
golf course.
Are you seeing any virtual skin royalties?
No, I just get my flat rate, you know.
$100 and some cigarettes.
This is the sound. It's an ancient Chinese song. It's called Tu Ning.
Tuning. I love this.
Sorry, that was terrible.
We get letters.
Yeah, so we're weird and like to play a half step down.
James Jaw Dillon is watching. Another drummer.
Hey.
All right, drummers unite.
Does he like Green Day?
He's in a band called Kill Set.
All right.
Good title.
Okay, all right.
I like Kill Set.
Good to hear from
I
you.
heard of the guys.
So core.
Should I do a new one or should I do one off the EP?
Doing off the EP since we can't.
Doing off the EP so everybody could look it up online and listen to it.
Oh, what's the
All
name of the EP so we can pimp you fully?
Dismal Year. It's
Dismal
available
Year.
Streaming on so many platforms. The main ones we use are like Apple and Spotify. There's a link to follow around and stuff like that on our Instagram. We're at Casuous Band. I'm gonna play something.
Could this have been prevented? Who wasn't expected? The world is such a lie. All emotions lost in translation. We don't dwell on it for so long, because nothing really matters when we speak. I could never hold on to what I once was. We could not go back to a time before we lost. I don't wanna go out. I don't wanna see my friends. See my friends. 'Cause I know everything I've done, and I won't face what I've become. Speak deep inside yourself and you'll find solutions to everything you see. Nobody said that it would be easy. For the strength of your will, and I could never hold on to what I once was. We could not go back to a time before we lost. I don't wanna go out. I don't wanna see my friends. See my friends. 'Cause I know everything I've done, and I won't face what I've become.
Wow.
All
Bravo,
right.
bravo.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Cool.
See My Friends. Hands. Tell us about that. I mean, what's the basis of that song?
Oh my god. Okay, you go through a breakup, right? But you only get one song about it. All right, you don't need to write a whole album.
Right.
No, because then.
Right? But yeah, thing happened, stuff fell apart, and there's a song.
The
in
center
there
will not
somewhere.
hold.
Yeah, it's our theme seems to be like, yeah, hey, our lyrics are sad, life is generally negative, but we're gonna play really fast, and you're gonna want to like circle pit, and you're gonna feel the force behind it still, and not just be like all limp about it.
We try to get it to where like you can like anyone can relate to it too. So it's like it might be like a we all like for this EP we all wrote like very personal lyrics, but we try to like construct the words in a way to like other people can relate. So like our personal experience might not be their exact experience per se, but the way it's worded, they can probably like take something from it and relate to it on their own level, however they want to relate to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the power of love.
The power of music.
Thank you, Huey. By the way, imagine what the drop fees and the power of love must be.
Oh jeez.
I mean, the Back to the Future is what, a 33-year phenomenon.
I recently watched American Psycho, and I loved his music reviews, like right before the murders. He's like, yeah, Huey Lewis and the News like really came into their own style artistically and commercially. He's like sharpening his knife. And
sharpening.
Oh my God, I thought that was a fine film.
Yeah, it's weird. When I interviewed Christian Bale, and then interviewed with him, and it was a press day for one of his movies, and I looked at the press room, and the reporters all waiting to talk to him, all had the same naked, covered in blood shot of him. I'm a professional. I brought my questions and my tape recorder. Mm-hmm. But you had all these idiots with the same picture of him naked holding a knife or a bat from American Psycho, and it's like, wow, really?
Mm-hmm. That's why we're here. Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
kinks.
That body though.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
What's the best score on a movie? What's the best score you've ever heard in the movie?
The best,
Damn, that's a good one.
Lately,
You're next, so think of an answer.
I'm a bit of a Trent Reznor fan.
Wow.
So I think he did the soundtrack to that movie Gone Girl or something, and I'm like,
yes.
Wow.
While I'm
I didn't know
not usually like a Ben Affleck movie watcher unless it's a Kevin Smith movie.
What about Batman?
Yeah.
Also not into comic books. Dave, the other guitar player, he's comic book guy. He will
Hold
write
on,
songs
you're a
about
D&D
comics.
player who doesn't give an S about Batman? Screw you, liar.
It's the damn blame the movies and the Disney, and like I stopped keeping up, man. I prefer anime. I'm a Japanese when it comes to my
You're that guy.
Yeah, I'm that.
I'm the anime dude.
I'm just the anime dude on the internet.
I just want to live in the world of Akira.
Neo Tokyo doesn't sound too bad.
Wow.
Akira, yeah. Neo Tokyo is about to explode.
There is a nuclear war in the movie, so be careful.
That was my first anime thing I had. I had it on VHS.
Yeah,
down at Clubhouse Comics. That's
Usually
what I got.
Jeff is into tentacle porn, but he made an exception for Akira.
You'd be surprised who's in tentacle.
And I had the English version and the Japanese subtitle one.
Right. That used to be what, 2 different cassette tapes? It wasn't an option.
No.
Yeah, man. They always sound better in subtitles. The voice acting and stuff. Generally speaking, I've seen some stuff where I'm just turned off by like English people trying to be in English stuff that's supposed to be in Japanese, and just not conveying the severity of the situation.
But you know what? I was at the screening of Fushi-Igo. They're doing the American dubbing of Fushi-Igo mystery play.
Oh.
And there's this amazing actress who does all the Japanese to American dubs. It's Bridget Hoffman. That's her on the Evil Dead poster being choked with a monster hand.
Nice.
And she's done, the amazing thing is her accents are so flawless. She's dubbed the female leads in every Jackie Chan movie since Rumble in the Bronx.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
no
my.
shit.
Yeah, it's an Irish girl from Michigan.
That
You know?
is an extensive
Wow.
collection. Wow.
That's cool, man.
She's the perfect heroine.
Yeah,
in these
exactly,
movies.
exactly. So she's amazing. I mean, she sounds Asian. You know what I mean?
I found out recently that Jackie Chan is actually more revered in China as a singer. And then I dug into it, like on Spotify. I just typed in Jackie Chan, and he has a beautiful voice. Like, it almost brought me to tears, man.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's
For real,
it's very emotional. It's not like a distorted guitar and like fun stuff like that, but it'll make you feel ways about stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan gets
drum
hit
and fight.
the
Sing
best
and
thing.
fight.
The best thing Jackie Chan ever did. He's the extra, one of the extras in the black jumpsuits, trying to take on Bruce Lee at the end of Enter the Dragon.
I bet he enjoyed that.
And so you actually see, there's a still where you can see when Bruce Lee hits 5 guys at the same time. Jackie Chan is like head number 3.
That's crazy.
Oh my God, my sister is watching our show. She's never tuned in on a live stream.
Your sister,
My sister all the way from North Carolina.
well, she's thinking, gosh, I'd rather look at those guests than my brother's face. Jeffrey looks like a pumpkin 3 weeks after Halloween.
Okay, back to Mr. Drix, man.
Oh, all right, man.
Oh, you're playing another tune? Let me shut the door just in case our neighbors here at the rock radio station have problems.
Oh,
You know what? Maybe if they keep it open, they'll listen to it and they'll want more.
At the same time, we're going to just...
We want more.
Depends what kind of neighbors you have.
Oh, that
Lay
door.
it on us,
Okay.
brother. Oh, do you
No,
want me
yeah.
to shut the main
No,
door?
no.
I want Betty Beware to get in. Tammy Ramp to get in when she
Yeah,
gets.
that's right. She'll be in soon.
Lay it on us, brother. Another tune. By the way, what do you do in the band again? Because he's singing and playing.
I'm the drummer. I'm the guy in the back of all the pictures. And
Yeah, actually, the band I would say is only as good as the drummer. That's
Let the
me.
record
Try to-
reflect he did air quotes.
All right. This is not for fans of religion.
Bad religion?
Would you kill a man and not call it a sin? Would you be forgiven for your holy crusade?
Here comes.
Keep going, man.
Hey Roy, keep tapping these lyrics. This is a fresh song.
Help him out with the lyrics.
Would you start a war with what you do not understand? Do you need a savior who can be trusted? Would you give your money to a false authority? Would you scorch the earth of a foreign land? Spread the word around the world, God is dead and we killed him. Spread the word around the world, God is dead and we killed him. Tell the youth, tell the man, tell all of the children. Spread the word around the world, that God is dead and we killed him. Would you tell a lie
another song by Casuist. How do you spell that?
Casuist.
There you go, everybody.
Not Kasabian.
Dude, it's not even 8 a.m. yet. Wow.
Do you suffer from an excess of cheery songs?
We want to thank everybody for getting up early this morning.
Oh man, no, just us. Just everybody else is used to it, man.
Yeah, everybody else.
Yeah, we're the tired rock stars at
that
4:30.
That was a first time play too. That's actually not on the EP.
Yeah, nobody's heard.
Oh, it's not on the EP.
You guys are the first people to hear me butcher that song publicly.
Wow. That was
Well,
great.
we're honored.
It's a new song. That's why you had to help with the lyrics there. Like, you know what? Anybody that can remember a song all the way through is just like, and you got a whole set list in your head and not screw it up or forget the words. I mean, that just amazes me.
I don't think killing God is a good idea before 9 a.m. Sure you go.
It's up for debate. I think the jury might still be out on it.
We need coffee.
Not me.
Yes.
We. It's like a metaphor.
Did it get hotter in here since you shut the door? I think you're sucking up all the oxygen. What?
Well, you keep pinching your own nipples. I don't know what your problem is.
Oh, let's open that door. I need some air in here, man. Because how come the air is always on when we're not here?
I think you're just claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Well, in your case, claustrophobic. Thank you.
Gene Coulter is watching, the world's most famous stunt.
The lovely Gene Coulter from Jaws 2.
Yeah.
She did Charlie's Angels, Double Farah.
Howdy.
Cool chick out of our friends and
No
projects.
pads, no nothing, just wearing her tank tops and
She
shorts,
did a fire stunt.
jumping out of cars and stuff.
She's the chick who sets the shark on fire in Jaws 2 and then blows herself up with a flare gun.
Oh, right on.
You know?
Oh my God, Joanne Ledesma is watching.
Your mother is watching.
Hi, Ma.
Hi, Ma, he says.
Hi, Ma.
Hi, Mom.
Can we go to Disneyland?
My boy drinks.
Sorry for smoking weed in your house.
He's an MMA fighter, Joanne. I'd suck it up if I were you. Don't make a big deal.
Hey, don't punch my Ma, Roy.
Stop punching my mom.
Don't punch my Ma, dude. Man.
Then he turns over Joanne's fallen body and turns to Drix. You want a piece of this?
Nah, man. He rolled a 1, dude. It was actually an attack of opportunity. My mom got the better.
My brother, my little brother Steve, a D&D nerd, would have enjoyed that reference. By the sacred skull of Gary Gygax.
All right, so should I do another little?
Sure, what the hell?
Yeah.
Ditty here. I'm just holding a guitar. That's what I got. You know, you guys. I brought too much technology.
Hey guys, before you start, I'm gonna pull the outer door closed. So.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to burn out. No, not this door. The door.
You make
What
sure
you
it's
gotta
open
do to
when
the
Betty
doors?
Beware walks through there.
No, we do not want Betty Beware not to get in. She's adorable.
Man, so you guys have.
And her
neighbors.
alter ego, Tammy Rapp, councilwoman.
Woo.
Yeah.
So you guys have neighbors that you try to be mindful of.
You know what? No, we need to be heard. They need to hear it.
Oh, they need to be mindful of us.
Yeah.
They need to
They
join
need to
us.
soak it in, man.
The chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on my death metal growls by picking up smoking.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Death metal still around?
Yes. My God, it's deathcore now. See, they
Now it's okay. Do I gotta hold this away because it's hitting your your E string?
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It's
No,
in the G string.
Or if you want to get well, let's see. I wish this was a little longer. You know, it's so chaotic here at this radio station.
No,
Everything. Look at all this spaghetti, man.
I would expect nothing less, actually, coming into this joint.
You got, look at this. Miles and miles of stuff, and where does it go?
Was this the easy button?
No, that was my doorbell, and the battery's kind of dying. Listen. You hear that little?
Yes.
Welcome to Chaotic Radio, everybody. It's the Jeff and Janki Show with our special guest.
Casuist.
See, even your drummer doesn't know how to pronounce the damn pretentious name.
Roy.
Ben.
Janky.
Janki.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Joan Ledesma listening.
I'm
Okay, now try to keep him cheery. This is 7:30 in the morning or 7 o'clock in the
Oh
morning.
no! That's not what we do around here.
patience in people in my age. There's only so much room in my life, full of narcissistic cynicism. And why are we alive? How will we survive? I still wake up every day, pain and black. Take a look into my eyes and see the void inside. Is something wrong with me? It's just the way I see things. Everybody's got a dime, and I think I'm not the only one. I think I'm not the only one on the bright side. If we remember the dead, they would find our pain and the us. Too serious, I'm losing confidence in myself. Is something wrong with me? It's just the way I see things. Everybody's got a time, and I think I'm not the only one.
All right. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, yeah.
One more. Give us another.
Oh.
Come on, human jukebox.
See, the thing is that we have 2 guitar players in our band.
Makes it
And
real tough.
A lot of the stuff would not be conveyed properly
Oh.
with just one guitar. Me and Dave were actually in a 3-piece before this, where most of the songs were like that. But yeah, this stuff is we got some limited availability because of the limited musical.
It's
access.
unplugged, man. Just an acoustic
Unplugged.
guitar, man.
Yeah, you guys were like, oh, bring a practice amp. And I was digging around in my garage last night. I was like, turns out I haven't used one of these things in years. Like, I don't have a tiny practice amp, but I do have an Eastman acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Ooh, but no, I'm putting that.
And my headphone cord is dampening my E string.
Yeah, I can't seem to buy enough gear for my studio.
How do you spell your band name?
Casuist. Casuist. Or-
Casuist?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's interesting.
Yeah, if you type that into YouTube, what I've found is that there's a definition for the word casuist. That's the first video, and right under that is our little band.
Casuist.
Yeah.
You
It's
need
like
to
a live
send me
recording
that
up there
link
somewhere.
that you sent. Well, I could send. You sent me that one with the picture,
Yeah, in the
and I could send it to him.
in our little group chat.
Oh my gosh,
There's
there's a woman coming down here. It's a
That's not a woman. It's the goddess that walks.
Oh,
Tammy
get
Rapp.
in here. Everybody, this is our 8 o'clock guest. Welcome.
The always adorable Tammy Rapp.
Councilwoman
Tammy
Tammy
Rapp. Bravo.
Tammy
Hold on.
Rapp.
I will bring you a chair, my lady. Can I get you a water? Good to see you, buddy.
All right.
Step on your toes. This is Casuist.
Let's get another
You guys are
chair.
gonna
Let's
share a mic.
get another chair and slide them down. And
Let me switch these up.
You guys are now sharing a mic because we can't lose the goddess Tammy.
no, we're not sharing a mic. There's microphones for
Melanie, your
everybody.
chair. Would you like water?
Yes, please.
Guys, you want a water or are you good?
Oh, sure.
Okay, how about you, coffee drinker?
I'll take a water, yeah.
Okay, cool. Jeff, you want a water?
Get the guts lubricated.
Welcome to the Jeff and Janki Show. Let me tell you what's going on here. This is Roy, the drummer, and this is Ben Frank, guitarist, singer, songwriter, producer,
Recording engineer.
recording
sorta guy.
engineer. He was just
Audio
singing some
affiliate.
live songs.
I can wait.
And it's all like, and now
No,
we're
the
gonna,
show is chaos, believe it or not.
yeah. And now we're gonna learn about local politics And
Yvette is coming on tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, yes, yes. I like that.
Here we go. And Jeff, your bottle.
oh my God, yeah, I could use that. I don't have to go to work after this.
Good morning.
Jeff, would you like? Oh, there we go. I was joking, but okay. Good morning, by the way. All right, Casuist, I want you to meet the lovely Betty Beware, aka Tammy Rapp. She runs a horror-themed beauty parlor in Little Upland.
Oh, was that the?
Yes, Little Shop of Horrors.
Shop of
Hairdos.
Yeah.
I was just there this past weekend at
yeah?
Polly's Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right next door, yeah.
Awesome, cool.
He was getting his tips frosted. So Tammy, talk to us. You're wearing your. I'm calling you Tammy because you're wearing your serious Clark Kent. I'm a candidate glasses.
Yes, no one recognizes me. Yes.
Yvette Walker is coming on tomorrow, by the way. She wanted to be here today. She was going to say hi today, but she has a meeting in Arcadia.
Yeah. It's busy this time of year now. Down to the wire.
Now, by the way, you guys know, longtime listeners know, Tammy, a.k.a. Betty Beware, has been one of our favorite guests. You've been on several times. You're adorable. You're cool. She's into horror. She knows her Chucky from her Freddy. But more importantly, you're running for office.
Yes.
Tammy Rapp, which is everyone who knows her in the punk scene is Betty Beware. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You do the audio guy thing.
Wow, you are.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I know you might want to wear the headphones too.
Yes, you can hear.
That would be helpful.
Everyone has headphones.
Side feed mic.
Remember to speak sideways into the mic. We got you the red tip mic because it looked cool.
Okay.
And I see putting that flyer in the door so you could open it worked.
Yes.
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 We figured our listeners might not want to hear about breakups and God being dead this early in the morning down the hall. Our neighbors.
You know
Suck
better
it up.
than I.
Your songs are great, but there's a hospice across the way, and that could be a bummer.
Oh, that's okay. They're all just.
Hey, no, don't finish that
Who's
sentence.
paying the rent here?
Hey, I know, but you don't want to bum anyone out, you know. All right,
Welcome to
lovely
Campus
one.
Radio.
Talk to us. You're running for office in Upland, California.
Yes, I'm open for city council. Yeah, so it's been quite an adventure for the last 7 months.
Now, here's the amazing thing. Tammy, a.k.a. Betty, is a burlesque dancer, and one of her opponents was trying to smear her.
Yes.
Now, that opponent actually had a King Kong-sized skeleton in his closet, didn't he?
Yeah, King Kong size.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
You want to talk about that? Listen to this, you guys. So he's smearing her as being not right, not right for the community because she's a burlesque.
Yeah, his group is, yeah.
And he used to belong to a band himself. You want to give the name of the band?
Yeah, it's called the Vagos Gang.
He was a member of the Vagos, the Hells Angels of the Inland Empire.
Yeah. But the Daily Bulletin released the article last week, so it's definitely not hearsay or anything.
No. You can say it legally without fear of.
It's fact.
He might not sue you, but I just don't want to meet any Vagos in real life. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So did that shock you that the guy was a member of a biker gang after talking about how inappropriate you were?
No, we've known for a while a lot of people anonymously who are coming around with fake names and contacting a lot of us, and they're like, "Listen, we have photos. This guy's not good."
Wow.
And so we didn't say anything, but a lot of the anonymous people were posting it on a lot of Upland forums and so on and so forth. So finally, Daily Bulletin got wind and did their research, and it's fact. So,
Wow.
Yeah, so,
Interesting.
yeah, just saying it how it is. No hearsay coming from this end. So.
By the way, guys, now neither of you have lived in Upland, have you?
No, I frequent James games a lot.
Wow. James games. As a
That's
former
been there a
Upland,
long time.
Yeah.
as a former Upland High lad, I remember cutting several periods for James games and Dwayne's comics. Remember the Magic Door?
Yeah.
You would run to the open field. You would sneak off campus, and you would run to that open field like a lover on Thursdays when New Comic Day. Tammy, as a girl, you wouldn't know this, but New Comic Day used to be Thursdays, and then it became Wednesday.
Huh.
But you would, as a 14-year-old boy, you would hit that field in Little Upland, and you'd run like a lover to the comic shop. You would know this as well.
Now-
But there were still comics.
To
there.
run as
Yeah.
a candidate, do you as a business owner, how much time of residency do you have to have, or
Just live there. It doesn't matter how long.
Yeah?
Yeah. You will now up uplands and districts now, as of most cities are. And you have to live within your district. That way, you're a representative of all areas of upland. That's the purpose of the districts, because you can't have everyone, running for council that's in North Upland. That would be a representation of the people of North Upland with, different socioeconomic class.
So there is a difference, because Yvette told me the same thing. Yvette Walker, who's also running, thinks the world of you.
Yeah.
And you can think the world of her, since the two of you are running for different districts in Upland.
Yeah. She's in 2 and I'm in 4.
Wow, yeah, because she likes. Again, I love that you guys are doing this. I think it's important to take a stand in the community. You're more important than most people running for office because you're putting your money where your mouth is. You have a business in Upland.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the last time you were on, she would tick off on her hand everything that was wrong with Upland treating businesses. Upland used to have this fantastic, and they still do, have the Thursday night, was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday.
It used to be Thursday, yeah.
And
The street fair.
the street fair. And the street fair, they choked the life out of it.
Because I just got a text from someone that they can't hear me.
Oh, hang on. Let me make sure. Hold on. All right, listen, everyone. I'm going to hear if we can hear. I'm a loud mammal, so let's try this. Hello. Okay, it's there?
Yeah, there you go.
Hold on. We just have to move your mouth closer. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Over to the side mic.
All right.
Try now, Tim.
All right, is that better?
Yeah.
I can hear
Little
you.
closer.
A little closer. Hold it.
What the hell did the drummer do to the mic? I'm joking.
Breathed on it.
You're an MMA fighter. I'm not going to say any S. You can start beating up the other 3 people in the room. I'm just going to sneak out to my car. All right, go on. Now, Tammy, and we're calling you Tammy Rap. You've been Betty Beware on previous appearances because that's your character name.
Right.
But what made you run for Upland? And turn a little more close. Yeah, right there. Try there.
Okay. Am I on yet?
I can hear you.
Okay, is that better?
That sounds better, yeah.
All right. Well, I've been heavily involved in everything progressively moving downtown forward. I desperately needed it for about 5 years now. I mean, I started the big social media campaign to market downtown. I've produced a lot of events there. I've produced burlesque shows there that were very successful. And I'm doing my next one soon, too.
Yeah, you did Valentine's Day one, and your next one is going to be on Halloween night.
Well, we rescheduled it because a lot of parents were saying, oh, I got to take my kids trick-or-treating, but I want to come to the show. And it was one night only. So, due to demand, we went ahead and worked with the Grove Theater, and we're going to push off to another Valentine's Day again.
Smart. And besides, I felt bad. You had a good friend of mine playing piano in the lobby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll still be on.
Okay, good. Okay, I want to make sure he still has a gig.
Yeah.
Was that Rob?
Yeah.
Yes, Rob.
Oh, he's great.
Rob's playing piano,
Rob
but
Steiner.
the important thing is Halloween night, especially if you're involved in genre stuff. There's like 3 Halloween parties I have to hit. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be disloyal and not drop in and say hi to you guys. But at the same time, it's like, I was just complaining to him. John Carpenter only plays Halloween night. He'll only do all his music Halloween night. Well, screw him. I've got plans Halloween, even though we made the Halloween, screw him. I'm not gonna lose my Halloween because John Carpenter feels like coming out once a year to make some money.
Yeah, what has he done for me lately?
What the hell has John Carpenter? He hasn't made a good movie since They Live. All his stuff since They Live is crap.
Nah, I'm not the movie buff, man. My opinion it's just salt.
Your opinion is as valid as anyone else. Remember, in Upland, where Tammy is running for, they actually shot Lemora, Lady Dracula, A Child's Tale of the Supernatural. You can watch Elvira kick the hell out of it on Amazon Prime. But it was shot completely in Upland.
Completely in Upland?
A little bit of Pomona, too. But
okay,
yes.
that makes sense.
You know what I mean? And you've seen it, right?
Yeah, portions of it. I've seen portions of it, so I'll have to watch the whole thing then.
It's super cheap, but the amazing ending of the movie, she's running around Little Upland, and it looks like it was shot, I think it was shot in the early 70s. So you're watching Little Upland, but they're trying to make Little Upland look like this village of monsters. So there's fog everywhere and torches. And it's like, oh my God, she's right by the Sunkiss factory.
Yeah. But I'll definitely have to watch the whole thing. You said on Amazon Prime, right?
Amazon Prime, yeah. Check out the Elvira thing. And I think Elvira is also on Roku, I think,
Oh, all those streaming services, man.
Oh,
They're
my God.
everywhere.
Why don't people go to the movies anymore? With Netflix and Amazon Prime, I'm ready for the zombie apocalypse as long as they keep them on the air.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Turn to the mic though. You're getting a little bit of echo. There we go. Okay,
Oh
you're
my God,
perfect. You don't have to
just
hold it. Just, yeah.
Basically, have to eat it in order for everyone to hear me.
Okay, perfect. Oh.
Eat the microphone.
Shit. Eat it. Do it. Sorry, Exorcist.
Yeah, but so I wanted it Halloween night because obviously I wanted to do a Halloween show. Halloween's obviously a big deal to me, but it made sense to move it, because a lot of, that way on Valentine's Day, there's not a lot of parents that have, parental obligations on that day. So we're going to make it a good show for Valentine's.
Right. By the time the kids show up on Valentine's Day, it's pretty much wrecked.
There you go.
So you're going to do another Valentine's Day theme? No. Did it shock you to have a campaign opponent trying to make the burlesque a pejorative?
Nope. Not
You were
shocked
expecting
at
it.
all. And and that's fine. And I've never denied it. And they were posting photographs of me, in costume and performing on stage. And they're, oh my gosh, the horror.
That can't help but help you, I would think.
Right, and
I feel like that's politics, though.
yeah,
Like,
no matter what it is.
Yeah,
So.
and everyone's always trying to smear someone to get on top. It's kind of a whack culture.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like entertainment and the media would rather have your kids watching like 1,000 violent deaths, but never the tender act of love.
Right. That sounds like a man who grew up with Skinamax.
I just don't get it.
Well, this is true. Okay, now, how did the debates go for you, Tammy?
That was extremely nerve-wracking.
Wow, tell us about it.
Because you're in front of a live audience, and of course you're being filmed for cable network on there, and you pretty much know, what the hot topics are going to be, but you don't always have a for sure answer for everything. I don't want to falsely lead the people that, okay, well, a month in office, I'm going to cure all the problems of Upland. But when you're up there in a debate, you
heard it, folks. She promised.
But I know I'm not, because I'm so, there's some candidates that are like, oh, I'm going to lower the water rates, I'm going to do all this. Well, you can't do something like that overnight. That there's lots of things to take into consideration. And you have to understand how a city works and how money works and how taxes work. And Upland's suffering in that arena as opposed to surrounding cities. Like even Ontario, of course, they're doing really, really well. They have a budget within the billions, so, people have to understand that. There's things that we wish we could do and we want to work towards, but, we can't do that because there's not enough funding. Like we need more police officers, we need to retain more police officers. But,
a lot of them leaving Upland?
Oh, yeah, and gone to Ontario, in fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so...
They've got 2 police helicopters in the air. That's expensive. I mean, that.
I don't think Upland has a police helicopter.
No,
I know
they don't.
Ontario
No,
does. But
Ontario's
Yeah.
way. They've, like you said, they got a way.
But screw them. We have an IHOP.
We have great potential, like downtown specifically. We're the nearest downtown to Los Angeles along the metro that has not been developed into a destination.
This is true. Although we do have the historic Monvaldi.
Yes. But, so we've got this amazing potential. We're in a very unique town that you don't see in existence anymore. We're not this oversized shopping mall. We're not this,
True, yeah.
So we have a lot of small businesses that people, very eclectic and family owned, that people want to come and, allow that and spend the entire day there, just as a destination should be. But unfortunately, there's no ordinance in place that takes care of the building owners that refuse to lease out their buildings or anything, so they're allowed to leave it vacant for years.
Wow.
So that, of course, turns into other issues, homeless, squatting, more crime, and no tax dollars coming in there. Our residents are, driving to Rancho, driving to Claremont to go out to dinner, to find entertainment, when it could be happening right here.
We're getting an In-N-Out Burger, though, off of the 19th.
Large.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's opening soon. The sign went up.
Yeah.
By the 210?
Yes.
Yeah, it's over by where
Biggest ones
Toys R
ever
Us used to be.
made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest ones ever made, so that's really, really
It
good.
looks beautiful. I can't wait to smell and stop in and eat the actual food.
Yeah, convenient place right there off the freeway.
I know, isn't that great?
Right.
What happened with the, all those cannabis businesses that were in Upland? Do they all get kicked out?
Yeah, they are. I mean, I'm sure that there's some in existence somewhere there,
Yeah.
but nobody knows about them. But
Was that like a resident vote type
yeah,
of?
exactly.
Really?
Is it a hot topic during the debate?
Yeah, was it a hot topic?
It wasn't because it already went to vote and it's already been passed and it is
It's old
what it
news
is.
now.
Yeah. And that could bring amazing revenue. I mean, there's ones that are done illegally that is obviously attract crime and issues like that. But then on the other hand, there's ones that are done legally that are helping a lot of patients who need them and are getting off opiates. I just went to a conference at San Antonio Hospital where physician after physician was explaining that opioid use is finally on the decline. And the reason being is for cannabis use.
Did you hear about those doctors on the East Coast that got busted for selling like 5 million opiate pills without like prescription or something like that?
Wow.
Yeah.
This is all good news for my co-host because Jeff has had glaucoma as long as I've known him.
I'm not wearing glasses.
He can't see a damn thing. You're just 3 silhouettes to him.
I can't seem to get those contacts in my eyeballs.
But now, what was it? The great question for the guys. What was the big hot button question of the debate for you?
Well, I mean, homeless issue, but that's a statewide problem, or if not nationwide, So this is a huge issue that San Francisco and LA basically it's a crisis. It's beyond that. They can't even handle the situation anymore. San Francisco alone is getting 3,000 calls a day from cleaning up poop off the sidewalks. That's San Francisco alone.
I literally have homeless people living behind my apartments.
Wow. Where do you live?
In Ontario.
Wow.
Like right up against the freeway. But I mean, I don't say shit because if they don't bug me, I'm not. I'm not that type of guy to be anal about it. But
exactly, we have the typhus outbreak going on in downtown LA right now, and there's a string of RVs by the Metrolink station in Upland now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's crazy to me because everyone keeps saying like, oh, like unemployment's going down, but like when I physically look around, the homeless problem is like insane.
Oh yeah.
I work in Orange County, and the homeless problem is insane. I live.
You had that huge. They had to close down that one area.
Yeah, the whole river.
The wash.
Jeff and I went by the wash, and Jeff goes, "Will you effing look at that?" And it was like a barter town going on in the middle of the wash.
It was thousands of people and like a bunch of like underground, business rings and like drug dealings and crazy shit like that. But like any city you go to, shit, right here in Ontario off Mountain, you'll see a slew of homeless people, and it's like, man, it's fucking. What's really going on?
Yeah.
When they had that homeless village in Ontario a couple of years ago,
Tent City,
right by
the airport landing.
Some of the cops were getting a rash walking through it.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
so there was something airborne going on there. You know what I mean? and
it's unsanitary living conditions. I mean, they're pooping
they
bags.
tried to put showers and they tried to put the outhouses, and it failed.
And to see pee bombs all over Little Upland is really weird, know?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's the housing crisis. It's completely, it used to be 30% of your income went to your housing. Now it's 50%, 60%. People are starving to make rent, So, of course, it's just the people lowest on the bottom are going to get affected first and just keep moving on up. I mean, I'm starting to know people personally who are living in hotels now, So gentrification, they're coming in. Investors are buying houses, buying apartment buildings, and then they drastically raise the rents, make it unaffordable,
and then you got all this boom of like a luxury apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, who the fuck can afford to live in a luxury apartment?
Right.
We've got all these propositions coming up too that are just really horrible.
And you guys are right. I mean, this is what's weird for me. We went to a party. My brother and I went to a friend's party in Eagle Rock, and I'm starting to see this more and more. And usually you'd see it in LA. I mean, you'd see the homeless crisis in LA.
Right.
Once you got out here, it was fine. But we got off in Eagle Rock, and there was nothing but a tent city under the overpass. And I mean, you're driving along this, and it's really, I think California, especially because it's gotten so expensive lately, it's really terrifying. I mean, you're starting to see, it looks like anybody could, you know what I mean, wind up there, which is why I think everyone gives the homeless a wide berth just to, because it could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But it seems to be, like you said, it seems to be more. I've never seen homeless that much in Upland,
Right, true. It's everywhere. I mean, Santa Barbara, I just went to 3rd Street Promenade. issues there too. No city's unique to it.
Although ironically, the promenade has always been famous for that because the homeless kids around the beach have been there forever.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Like Venice and such. Yeah.
and it used to be back in the '90s. There was a satanic. There was a sacrifice. No, a homeless sacrifice. I know it sounds like a blue-haired old lady, but it made the cover of LA Weekly. You know, some girl got knifed by her friends. You know what I mean? And they one of them carved a pentagram on her, which led to a bunch of problems in the late '90s.
Oh yeah, I bet it led to a lot of problems.
Not the least of which was the poor girl who was. There we go.
Everyone likes deathcore until it's time to do deathcore
Yeah.
shit.
Exactly. Everyone wants to be in a cult. Nobody wants to be the sacrifice.
Tammy, I know you want to do a lot of changes because we've had a terrible, like the Lemon Festival and the street fair. I mean, the committees that were running it were it was just like done really poorly.
Well, the Lemon Festival's still doing really well because that's owned by the Fairplex. So there's a lot of funding behind
I
it.
took my dog. The Lemon Festival was pretty good this year.
Right.
You know.
It's
Owned
the
by the
Irish
Fairplex?
Fest we lost. Yeah, it's run by the
That is
Fairplex.
insane. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
That's why it looks very similar to the LA County Fair.
Yeah,
like a
that's
small
just-
version of that. Yeah.
So how does that work if it's if the Fairplex is in Pomona and they're running something out of Upland?
Well,
Bingo.
Yeah, well, it definitely gets a kickback, of course.
Oh, okay,
so,
cool.
It'd
Yeah.
be great for you guys to play the Lemon Festival this year.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put in your apps early. Yeah,
Sweet.
definitely. Because they get all kinds of live bands.
Nice.
And then we lost the Irish Festival, which caused a $175,000
We lost the Irish Festival?
to downtown. I mean, yeah, in downtown Upland alone, from all the businesses cumulative, we lost $175,000 in sales.
Are you serious?
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is extremely detrimental to downtown, of course. So, yeah, so I would really like to see that back.
Wow. Yeah.
You know?
No.
And so with the community, we had a blast. It was a great
I think I
time.
went to one of those and it was a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 2 days of that. And we don't have anything like that in the immediate area, so.
That thing was a blast. I mean, by the way, your pub crawl is still coming up, right?
No, the historic board wanted to do their own pub crawl in the same month, so I said, okay, well, go ahead, I'll help you guys promote it and stuff like that. Well, September came and went, and it never happened, so
They stopped the Infinity Walk?
I just stopped the
It was a
Infinity
nerd-themed,
War.
Mr. D&D there who claims he's reading comics. It was going to be, she came up with this great idea of a nerd and cosplayer-themed bar crawl.
Yeah, for downtown specifically.
That
When
sounds
you-
genius.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe next year, then I'll redo it. I'm like, well, this time I'm just gonna go forward. So whatever, I'm gonna make this happen.
You want to tie it in with Free Comic Book Day,
There
I
you
mean,
go.
that's when cosplay and nerdom is at a high,
It's at a peak of
yeah, a
nerddom.
peak of all things.
Or like Comic-Con pre-party or something like that.
By the way,
Yeah.
the Comic-Con, the info list Comic-Con pre-party is the biggest Southern California event pre-Comic-Con. Everyone's just so excited about it,
Where's this at?
That's held in Hollywood, but getting into that energy, the weeks leading up to the San Diego Comic-Con, there's such nerd-tastic excitement. It'd be fun to profit off of,
Oh, Yeah. Okay, that's a good
that type of energy. You know what I mean?
So that would be basically in June then.
Yeah. June, July. I think Comic-Con is last week of July.
Not a big comic book.
There's only two events in the summer I know about. It's Comic-Con and Shark Week.
Yeah, I had a lot of people on board. It would have been something completely unique to Upland, So, I mean, that's not saying it's out of the question. I could still certainly do it. So.
You could also do a horror-themed one around Halloween. I mean, it's too late this year, but you know what I mean? It's such a great idea, a pub crawl. I mean, I love that. What makes you an ideal candidate is you have a really cool way of looking at everything,
Right. Progress.
Yeah, progress. I mean,
we're stuck kind of like in a molasses as opposed to our other cities, like stuck in the wrong century sometimes. So.
well, it's no surprise that when you Google Upland or you go to any store in Upland, it's always the same shot of the 1906 parade with the muddy streets.
So is this going to be after the election when the street fair starts up again?
Well, there's no prospect at all for that starting.
It seemed
again.
like we lost a lot of vendors last year.
Well, what happened was when it was really successful, it was ran by these producers called Main Street, and they produce festivals. So when you're experienced in something like that, they know how to promote, they know how to hire the proper people, they know how to get good vendors. So that was a drastically different story. Well, they kind of did the city wrong and left them in some financial issues and kind of split on it. So that went sour. So some business owners tried to jump in and take that over. And if you're not experienced in that or have the time and and money to back something like that, it just dwindled from there, and it kind of lowered down to like a swap meet style thing. And it was blocking down all of our streets for for nothing, for attracting 20 people. So of course the business owners were like, no, if you're going to take our parking, bring an event that brings people.
Right.
Yeah.
And people who go shop to shop. I mean, that's what was so great about the Lemon Festival is that you would literally get a drink, a couple drinks in you, and then you'd think, I haven't been to that oldies place in a while. The place in the vinyl and the comics and all that, and you found yourself feeling no pain, walking a chihuahua around Little Upland. It was pretty great.
Yeah. And it was, and everyone, obviously, Upland's very generational, and they like nostalgia, and they love that Thursday market that was very successful for me here. So it's possible, and I would be completely for it if they have the proper people running it. It's that simple, just like with anything. Now that county fire's taken over, though, it costs more to shut down our streets.
Does it really?
Oh yeah.
I did not know that.
Drastically more, but for good reason. I mean, it's painful, the price, but for good reason. They only want people with substantial amount that and have production history in order to come in and do a festival there.
And I feel bad that the Lemon Festival was run from out of Upland. It was the best it's been in years. I mean, you're sitting there enjoying the bands, getting quietly gassed, eating hamburgers, and just a friend of mine was cooking on a grill, and it was just seeing Upland. Everybody in Upland walked by, which was kind of cool.
Everyone knew everyone.
Yeah, and it's one of the charms of Upland. Upland's always had a small town mentality. You know what I mean? And when
So.
I
It's
find,
only 15 square miles. A lot of people don't know that.
are you serious?
Yeah, 15 square miles. A little over 15 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's what are we up to? 61,000 people?
Oh no, like
79.
79.
I always look at the sign before I turn.
Yeah.
Population size.
Yeah.
A
Welcome to
lot of
Upland.
people from the West who are getting outpriced from LA are moving in and commuting to LA. Like my boyfriend, for example, he works at USC, so he's the homeless liaison for LA. So I learn a lot.
We need a homeless guy to teach us about LA.
I learn a lot from him though, from handling the homeless situation. What our legal restraints are, you just can't go up there and grab their property and throw it away. And it's not illegal.
Oh yeah, no, they did that.
Yeah.
And then they got sued. ACLU.
Right.
They brought they scooped it up and threw it all away with the whatever this thing I'm doing, the Fisher Price shovel.
Yeah.
The Tonka truck.
Yeah. We have to get a handle on this before it goes full chud, gentlemen. Once we have cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers, it's all over.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you remember that movie with They Live when they.
We just talked about that before you came in.
Yeah, where they took the tractor and just literally plowed it. Everyone, I explained to everyone that in that form, you cannot do that. So.
Before you came in, I helped put on a thing called Hollywood Horror Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a 30th anniversary for They Live. We had Alan Howarth, the composer, with the editor, and some other people come in. And they were talking when they did the homeless jungle in They Live in '88, 30 years ago. I guess it was an extrapolation, but now it's become reality.
Yeah, very true. Very true. AI too.
Yeah, we're still heading for chud, gentlemen.
Yeah.
So what would your first act be as an elected city councilwoman be?
Ordinance on downtown. If you own a building there, you cannot leave it vacant.
Wow, good girl. All right.
You go into what I don't really like comparing us to Claremont. I mean, we can use them as inspiration, but I don't like to compare us to Claremont. It's kind of apples to oranges.
I like it better when you compare us to Montclair.
What I say is maybe like downtown Whittier, Covina, Laverne area, or downtown historic Redlands. If you drive down historic Redlands, you don't see an empty building.
No.
You don't at all. And not only that, their farmers market actually has city employees where their job is the farmers market.
Wow.
So there's a lot of city that back what happens in the downtown, as with most towns, because that's the heart of the city. So in this factor, as far as an upland, there's there's no help. There's nothing. We have nothing, and we actually pay an extra tax to be in downtown Upland, and that tax money is supposed to go for the beautification of downtown. It's been held hostage for 7-8 years now.
Oh God.
Yeah, ever since Main Street left, because Main Street used to control a lot of that money and use it to produce.
Main Street, they were the company over by the bakery, right?
Did they have an office?
Their
there?
office
Yeah.
building,
Their
yeah.
office, their building. Yeah, I gotcha. But I mean, even for the Lemon Festival, the bands would perform at our fest to see if they would make it onto the Lemon Festival. That's
Wow. Are you serious? Is that how that was done?
Yeah, it was very organized. So I mean, if we can get that back again, minus the crime they were doing, to get back in, that'd be great for downtown. And actually have it a farmers market again. We have a small farmers market that started up within this last year, but that's they're very small and they can only do so much. So
That little mall strip right by Corey's tattoo shop, that
Second
little alley,
Avenue.
that's been empty. I mean, they
got
come
bought.
and go out of
Oh,
that.
it didn't get bought?
yeah, some Claremont artists are going to make it in some form of, I don't know all the details yet, but it's going to be some type of art studio type.
That would work.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's
like I said,
weird.
those buildings need to be filled.
Right.
They need something going on there.
Yeah.
But it's
And
weird to see. Yeah, sorry.
build up our art community there.
Yes, we need more culture there.
Yes, art everywhere.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh, what are you saying that for,
Me
Banksy?
being an artist, I would get involved in that.
100%.
Well, I went to high school in downtown Pomona actually. So
Really?
I've
Oh,
so I've
Second
seen-
Street.
Yeah, like
Wow.
there's a charter arts high school like right next to the bus station on like Gary and stuff. It's called the School of Arts and Enterprise. They actually expanded since I graduated. So they have like a middle school now. They have a cafeteria. They have a recording studio. but I mean even that like arts is what drives that whole community and like.
Yes.
Golden Voice, contracts out like the Glass House and the Fox Theater and stuff. So there's always big acts coming in and out, and I'm around there. That's my stomping grounds.
And that's why I ran into you that night. It was Art Walk, I think, that night.
Yeah. It was probably one of us I was either playing in one of these bands or DJing
And
somewhere.
there was upstairs the little studio up there.
Oh
the
yeah,
bands.
that was called Centrality. It's actually a friend of ours has a loft, and it's like a live work like arts loft.
Wow.
And so they were like, once a year you have to do something for the art walk, to give back to the community or whatever. And he actually did it like every month, where he would book a show and like invite people to come up. He had some like gallery shows and things like that. Yeah, more live work art lofts.
Well, that's along the metro. That's what's coming. With New York style of living, where people want to bike or walk to their destination, and then if they go to work, then they take the metro. So that's our future.
Would you play a little Upland?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have before. I don't know. Yeah, I know I've done The Wire before.
Oh,
And that's where like
Yeah.
I remember that
so a
place.
lot of places will
Which
start
is now
there.
Polly's, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was where that
okay.
was.
That was
Okay.
definitely. I was there in downtown Upland. I feel like there might have been like a skate shop somewhere or something.
Yeah, there was actually.
We have one now,
Cellular
but
skates or something like
Is
that.
that still no? Is that my
That's
brother's
the pub
friend?
that you work at.
Oh yeah, there's a skate shop right
Rescue?
across from.
The Rescue Brewery.
Rescue
yeah.
Brewery, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big giant skate shop at one
Yeah.
time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jared's board shop.
Yes.
Jared's Board
yes.
Shop. That's what it was.
Jeremy, who ran the place, was a friend of my brother Don, and I noticed while teaching, one of the things I would notice is when you were 14, it was all skateboarding's not a crime.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you got your driver's license, the board shorts and the skateboard went to the trash.
Yeah.
It's like you can't ride a girl on your skate. You can't bring a girl on your skateboard.
Can if you try.
Pipeline. Remember Pipeline Upland used to be like it used to be like this chosen land of skateboarders and people.
The Hesher community.
The Hesher community from our friend the D&D artist.
That's when even Devo made their one video of this at the Pipeline.
Which one?
Skate park. It was God, what song was that?
Devo did a video here.
They filmed it. They filmed the guys skating. Mark Mothersbaugh was down in the pool in the deep end. They got all these skaters going all over the place.
When our family, a little after our family moved here, the guy who did the hillbilly and the one hit wonder who did the Streak and Mississippi Squirrel Revival and Everything Is Beautiful. I can't even name. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He was like Weird Al before Weird Al, and after Weird
Ray
Al,
Stevens?
Ray Stevens.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, they call him the Street.
Yeah, that Weird Al. They had this. He was trying to make money in the Weird Al era, which was kind of sad. And there was a shack. There was this beautiful shack off of Euclid, not too far from the Cracker Jack mansion. And it was this beautiful rustic little shack, which just happened to be where they were going to dig for the 210 freeway. And he shot a Christmas video there one year, and I remember thinking,
Wow.
yeah, I was so impressed. Wow, Hollywood just found Upland.
So that I would really like to see these empty buildings filled up with,
Yeah.
with businesses, and I think that one little thing could be a little art community, the little mini mall thing.
Yes, yes. So that's going to happen. I'm trying to get the owner of the packing house to do something with that.
Really?
There's been a lot of interest. Like the singer of Winds of Plague owns a escape room in Upland, and he wants to move that into there and make it a whole like live experience thing. It's a horror themed escape room.
That's kind of great, and that's right up your bailiwick, isn't it?
They have one right
Something.
there by
In Pomona too.
the Irish pub downstairs,
Yeah.
right next
Yes,
door on the
I've
corner.
been to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, it was decent. It was decent. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I like going to escape rooms.
Yeah, I've never done it.
They just opened one by my house. I want to check out.
It's either horror or not. It's cool to go to a group with the friends because you
Yeah.
all have to work as a team to figure it out. You know, so it's challenging.
All my friends are fucked.
Yeah.
They're all homeless, I'm guessing.
They'll escape and leave you there.
Hey, we're all gonna be there soon enough, anyways.
Like, oh, this is a nice place. We'll just stay a while.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because haunted houses are a big thing right now, you know, because it's Halloween.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
This is the season. And I remember my brother, when we were in college, my brother Steven, we had a friend John, and John would love haunted houses, and he would always kind of poke through, and he dragged us to like the 6th haunted house. So my brother Steven, John was a little guy, my brother Steven's a big guy. He goes, "You like haunted houses? Why didn't you experience one the right way?" So he grabbed John by the neck, pinned John's arms behind his back,
That's the Halloween spirit.
shoved John head first through every burlap drape, and every monster is jumping out at him. And he said it was the greatest haunted house experience he'd ever had because he couldn't protect himself. You know, in a haunted house, you always go like this. Well, John's face is being punched through by Steven's hand. It was very funny.
That's funny.
What's the best haunted house you've been to? We'll start with you, band members.
Oh man, you know there was one. It was you know back in my trick or treating days. Actually, my mischievous high school. I was trick or treating, but I was Glenn Danzig for Halloween.
Oh my
I
God!
think,
You had the sideburns and the
Yeah.
He
No, I had
swore
it
on
going
our
on.
old.
Wolverine looking like Wolverine.
He swore. He cursed out our old show director for playing his music without permission.
Oh yeah, he's
Called him himself.
He's super on it, man.
Dan the man, Dan Rupp. Yeah, Dan Rupp got bitched out by Danzig
I
himself.
can see you pulling that off.
No, yeah, that was like my high school thing to do. But there was one like in like the Phillips Ranch area that was just like some family did it, and it was pretty good. Yeah, it's just on the trick or treat path.
Right on.
Wow.
I
Okay.
mean, you know, for not like Universal or like Knott's or some theme park, like it was intense.
Wow. How about you, drummer?
I feel like, man, most haunted houses and mazes are the same to me. Like I've gone to the Queen Mary, I've gone to like Knott's, and done.
I think Queen Mary sucks.
The Queen Mary was actually pretty
I
cool.
think it's actually haunted, and that makes it scary.
It really
But
is haunted.
I'll tell you
yes.
this one story, man. The worst haunted house experience I've ever had. So we fucking open up the penny saver. Me and my friends were probably like 18,
Oh
19
God, the
years
penny
old.
saver! I haven't picked that up in.
What is this penny saver you speak of?
Like, let's look for some Halloween mazes. So we find one, like, oh, this one looks fucking cool. So we go to it, and it's right there in Upland, off of close to 9th Street, the little business complexes,
Oh yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
little business park. We go to this haunted house, and it's like. It's kind of intense at first. You walk in and like there's a room and like this fucking person has like AIDS, and like you go in this other room and this other person is like beating their kid, and it's like it's
Wow.
super fucking intense.
Different kind of scary.
Yeah, yeah, it's like real life,
Reality scary.
real life shit. And then we get into this last room and it's pitch dark, and then this fucking dude switches the light on, and we got suckered into a fucking Christian.
Oh, the Hell House. You went into a Hell House. That's what they called them.
And then, like, all of the rooms were supposed to be, like, different sins and shit.
Right.
And then we end up, like...
Did you pay for it, or was it free?
I fucking paid, like, $5. I was, like, ready to get stoked. I was like, what
it's like a chick publication, which is great. I'm a huge fan of chick publications. I did a panel at the... I think Comic-Con. I did a panel at Comic-Con on the wild, weird world of chick publications. And I've heard of those things. I never knew they had one in the Upland. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah. Because of that experience, that's why we sing about dead gods at 7 in the morning.
See, it destroyed you and bummed us all out.
Gotta get him one back.
Talk about a paid ad.
How about doing
haunted house
I
experience?
don't remember any like private ones, back when I was a kid. But Halloween was always the best when you were a kid. It was much more traditional back then. Like bobbing for apples and such. I have never been to Dark Harbor.
It's pretty cool.
Is it?
Cool. Yeah.
And then I know Warner Brothers did one this year too. I've only been a not scary.
I worked at the Warner Brothers one last year. It was an interesting haunted house. It was spooky. You mean the one on the lot, the mini lot, right?
I don't know. I thought it was something they were doing for the first time this year. They actually had a Tim Burton exhibit as
Oh
well.
yeah, okay. I'm sorry. There was
something with The Conjuring. I didn't hear much about it, but I don't know how well that went over this year. But I think the horror fandom is huge now. It's a whole other generation, so I think we're seeing a huge influx in all that.
in the age of Blumhouse, when you have horror making hundreds of millions of dollars, I think people demand a better quality haunted house, don't they?
Yeah, and then you get callous to a lot of things. Then you got like that guy that used to be in San Diego. What was that? Where he did all those basically torture things. It wasn't even horror; it was just torture.
Oh yeah. Well, there used to be you're talking about the San Francisco one.
No, it used to be in San
They
Diego.
have the Iron Maidens and what?
Well, they had one where they had the torture museum and
McKinley House.
oh my.
McKinley House. I don't know if you've heard of it. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. Actually, no. It's literally just how disgusting and torturous they can be to you, even like causing bloodshed and everything.
Oh, really?
Well, I think, I think in the early millennium, in the early 2000s, you had a lot of torture porn. You had the Hostels. You had you had the Hostel series. You had Saw, which was, it went from scaring you to, what can we do to the human body that you've never seen done?
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Some of the hostels are kind of cool.
No, I
got
think
tripped out of those.
I think Hostel 1 and 2 are brilliant movies. I literally, I told Eli Roth, I thought the first one was I really believe Hostel 1 is I think it's a death camp metaphor. I really do.
Yeah. It was like 2, I think, like they got
2 is all women, so it's even more disturbing.
Yeah, I like it because they got creative and like how they scared you. You weren't like scared of like a murderer that was like those old slasher films,
right?
You know what I mean? But it was like, well, fuck, I should really be careful when I travel, or like,
He's a businessman and he's paying to torture people,
right?
But it had a revenge thing to it. You know, the one guy, the guy finally got that guy in the bathroom at the end at the train station.
Yeah. Well, like, dude, it's kind of crazy too, because that's how like some of those sex trafficking rings work.
No, clearly, yeah. I mean, I think Hostel 2, which has been running on HBO a lot, Hostel 1 made a ton of money, and I think it's a Holocaust metaphor. I think the first one is, because remember he has a chance to escape and he decides to save someone else, and that leads to all sorts of, you know what I mean? I mean, and he's basically trying to save. He can't just save himself. He's going to help someone else. And with the second one, by making it all girls, it was disturbing because it was, it's like the big book of questions. What would you do to survive and how would you do it kind of thing, And I think it's really well made, which is why it unnerved a lot of people. And I think with the Saw movies, they would always put yourself in the situation. What would I do to my friends to get out of this place? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's a really valid, interesting look at horror. And I think with the later, with the haunted houses, like you said, that was the torture porn early, you didn't say torture porn, but that was the name they were giving it. And I think that's what the 14-year-old kid, because remember, every horror is trickled down. There's the people who see it in the theaters, but it's the big effect it'll have is on the ancillary markets. It's the 10 to 14-year-olds who are going to watch it on cable mom or dad isn't around to stop them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where, and when, you know, I mean, every kid knows what a zombie is. I have an 8-year-old nephew who knows zombies, and my brother's like, we've never let him watch Walking Dead. I don't know where this is coming from. But I think it's in the zeitgeist, you know, and if every zombie movie is a metaphor for the human race, basically, the problems you're having in getting along, that sort of thing, I think people want to be challenged with horror. You know, like you were saying, the horrors of homelessness and everything else. I think people need a release, and I think horror gives it to them. And with a haunted house, you want to feel it. You want to feel you're there. You want to, you know.
Yeah. Well, on a day-to-day basis, too, people don't want to confront the horrors that are in their own heads. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, oh, they'll either crack a joke about it, or they'll distract themselves with like some TV show or some other emotion. So, but like this time of year is really cool because if you're like into horror and stuff like that, it like forces you to see some of like the darker thoughts that a lot of people don't like to acknowledge that they have, you know. So
And then again, you know, what is your take? You're the horror queen of Little Upland.
I'm the Elvira.
Yeah, you are our local Elvira, baby. Talk about that.
Yeah. Well, what I've noticed in going to conventions, it's nice to see little kids now. They're like wearing Attack of the Killer Clown shirts and everything. I think the whole Stranger Things and the remake of It and all of that has really brought the new generation of horror, you know, to like the older generation of horror. So we have a whole other genre now. And, you know, now that we have kids, especially the Stranger Things, and the kids just love that.
I must ask you a question about we got the Talkie Tina doll in there.
Yeah.
Do the younger generation know about that, or do people question?
No.
Twilight Zone's always on, though.
For those that don't know, my shop, I have...
Little shop of hairdos, Little Upland.
Is over 100 years old, so I have these huge vintage display windows as you walk into the shop. So those two display windows are just covered in prints and art of everything of all different types of horror throughout history. So one of them is the Talking Tina that Jeffrey's talking about, is his Talking Tina. So basically, when people walk by, I see generations of all people, even, you know, the older generations telling their kids, oh, I remember that. That was when I was a kid. Or if you see something that they can relate to as the kids, they're like, oh, Mom, look, they're so-and-so, you know? So it's pretty cool because I'm like the freak on the block, you know? So when people walk by and, you know, we're just that little sideshow for them.
Speaking of which, your beautiful 100-year-old windows, what happened to the a-hole who broke your window, the drunk?
Oh, he's paying up.
Wow.
That was like a $3,000 window.
It was a $3,000 window, yeah.
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like justice.
Yeah, it was. Everyone found him basically on Facebook, and we got in contact. And I'm like, hey man, just pay for the window.
don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. If you're going to drunkenly break a window with cameras everywhere in Little Upland.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and the bar that he came from, the employees kind of spotted him out. So, and then of course he damaged his hand because it was an old window. So imagine sticking your fist through an old window. It was like, you know, basically swords going into his arm.
Wow. Yeah, that's 100 years of germs.
Yeah.
If the alcohol didn't kill it.
So I said, you know, and he did come to my shop and apologize. So
I'll give him credit for that.
Right, exactly. So in a crappy
After he was caught, of course.
In a
Let's not be.
situation, it was good that a best turnout for a crappy situation. The common friend that we had that helped me out is someone that's running for Montclair City Council.
Wow. It was good for them.
So we had a common friend, and he brought him to me. So
wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's paying up. He's making payments on it. So
Okay, good. All right, I wanted to make sure because your shop is so beautiful. When I heard about that, that was just terrible.
Yeah. So.
And the Talkie Tina thing is really interesting.
Because people will give the quotes to it all the time.
Well, the
You
Talkie
better
Tina.
Be nice to me.
Talkie Tina, who's also the voice of, she was also the voice of Rocky the Flying Squirrel. She passed away earlier this year.
Ward's wife.
Yeah, no. You're thinking of Woody Woodpecker, which was Walter Lance's wife.
Oh.
No, for some reason I'm blanking on which Hazel. She was like 90 something, and I interviewed her for my Jaws book. I recognized her voice because she did a lot of kids in movies, and she actually does a couple voices on Twilight Zone. She was famous, I guess. I read this in the Twilight Zone Companion, and then I interviewed her. She dubs the voice of the little boy in Jaws. If you watch Jaws, when when the kid says, when he says he's going to take his boat out, and the dad says, keep it in the pond, will you? And then he goes, the pond's for old ladies. That's her. That's her doing the voice. Because the kid's voice, the kid has a thick Boston accent when you heard at the beginning of the movie. But that wouldn't have sold the line. The line's a huge laugh, and you can't have some mangled up Boston accent. So she came in, stepped in, and Spielberg, of course, worked with her again in Roger Rabbit and other stuff. But what's amazing about Talkie Tina, that Twilight Zone, is it was a parody on Chatty Cathy. Rod Serling had like 3 daughters. Well, the voice of Talkie Tina, and I'm blanking on her name, even though she's in my book, so I feel bad about this. But when they did the Twilight Zone parody, making the doll scary, they hired the actual voice to do the doll. That's why you have so many NDAs and so many, you can't competition clauses in contracts today. They don't want you to make their items scary, even though you're the voice of both. Mm-hmm. So that never happened again after that. And this doll, the most popular doll, I guess, of the 60s, this Chatty Cathy, was the actual voice in a Twilight Zone. I mean, that would be like having Barbie's voice used for a Chucky movie or something, if Barbie had a voice.
Crazy.
Now, what about the downtown Upland Haunts? You produced that too, right?
Oh, the ghost tours. Well, I've helped with that. We got some paranormal investigators that go through and do tours every year. They're doing it for one weekend only because the main paranormal investigator moved out of state. So we can't do it as many tours.
Wasn't that Scott Alt was doing that?
He was one of them, yeah.
Has your ghost bothered you? You and Corey both had ghost stories. Has your ghost bothered you of late?
I don't really get bothered. I have everyone else having stories and everything. I think they just think I'm one of them, so they don't bother me.
They like your story.
A goth chick.
Very comfortable.
They're very at home there. Yeah, but it's interesting that the history behind just that whole area there. It's quite a bit amount of history, and we did have one death inside of our shop. So
really?
Yeah, back in the '60s.
Wow.
I was talking to a friend of mine at Polly's Pizza, and they were saying there's like some of those buildings have like tunnels connected to each other.
I've heard that.
Like that.
Just like the tunnels that are at Chafee High School.
Like underground?
Underground tunnels.
Something like, I don't know if they're underground or like through certain walls or.
I think at one point, I'm not sure, but I think at one point Polly's and I were one. Like there was an archway.
Got it.
And I know. Yeah, so I think you're
okay.
on that. Yeah, and there's no records of historically speaking of the architecture and stuff.
Oh, okay. It's like the game of telephone. It was like an archway, and it was like a secret tunnel.
Yeah.
And then the sacrifice room.
The Hell House.
I remember that comic shop when I was in high school. They'd go, "Oh, he's a Satanist," but he was playing D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dwayne, God rest his soul, Dwayne was playing D&D in the back room, and then you would hear all the local people go, "I think that guy next door is a Satanist.
He's conjuring up demons."
Upland's got enough demons. And you're going to slay some of them, I think.
True.
When is the election? So we know to...
November 6th. It's the same way nationwide.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. So we'll march on down to the firehouse to make sure Betty Beware, Tammy Rapp. Don't vote for Superman, vote for Clark Kent.
Yeah, and there's a lot of important props there too. Like rent control.
And the gas tax. Did you see what those bastards are doing? You have to vote yes. It's like Prop 6 or something. You know how you always vote no to keep from raising anything?
Right.
Now, to repeal the gas tax, you have to vote yes. They stole they put it totally illegal. The state of California slapped this totally illegal gas tax. I don't know if any of you noticed. Gas went up 20 cents last week.
It's horrible. Yeah.
You
I
know?
was wondering why I was so broke, man. I thought, wow, man, I'm spending like $60 when I'm filling it for 40,
Yeah.
And now the state of California is saying, "Oh, that money's been spoken for. We needed that money, and now they want to take that money away from us. You take it away from you. You illegally put it on people. You know." And
Right.
I mean, remember we get. Oh, sorry, you were saying.
I was gonna say, if I remember correctly, there was a vote on a proposition to raise gas taxes because they were saying that they needed to fix the roads or
Yeah,
something.
because they spend the roads money on something else. Welcome to California.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But then in my head, I was like, well, didn't we already have a fucking tax so we can fix the roads?
Exactly. They spent that on something else. And
Unfinished overpasses on the freeway.
how
Yeah.
much California taxes are we paying from just politician ineptitude? You know what I mean?
Too
I mean,
too much.
Very
I mean, the fact that we paid a road tax, everyone say, hey, great idea, we're all in agreement. They stole the road tax for something else, and now they want to give another road tax to pay for the money they stole to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm apolitical, but stuff like this really makes me mad.
Yeah.
You know?
Should.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where we got that prop. So yeah, we can reverse it. So that, and like I said, rent control. I think it's a big deal out here. You know, obviously
Fucking
we're-
everywhere in California.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
intense, man.
You know what I think it directly linked up to? Foreign investors are allowed to come in here and pay cash for stuff, whereas from what I understood, if I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but during the foreclosure era, where the real estate boom burst and that whole thing,
Yeah.
56% of those homes that were foreclosed upon were bought up by foreign investors. So those are all our rentals now that we're all getting basically raped with.
Man.
Yeah. And then so we can never gain the capital to buy a house because our rent keeps going up. So one real estate agent explained it to me. It's like modern day slavery. You will forever be a renter. Because younger generations, it used to be like my parents, they got married, they had mediocre jobs, and they just went out and bought a house. Now it's completely unheard of now for this generation of younger couples
Wow.
to go out and just buy a house. It's like it's not even possible, So that's what it is. You just keep getting caught in that rental circle, So you can't buy.
Yeah, and the politicians convince you to pay more taxes so they can try to fix the problem.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, you want
Yeah, by the way, welcome to the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
boy, oh boy. All right, well, since we've the horror queen of Little Upland, what horror have you seen lately in the last 6 minutes? What have you seen lately that impressed you? We're going
My
moving to you
favorite
next,
of
boys.
the year so far, and I'm normally not a huge gore factor fan, but I love Terrifier.
Terrifier, that's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it is now. Yeah, but it wasn't at first. You had to find it. But yeah, I thought it was very clever. Very clever. And some of the kill scenes are pretty intense. So you have to watch like My Little Pony afterwards.
My Little Pony.
I will
Cleanse your
watch.
palate,
Wow, Terrifier, huh?
Terrifier. Yeah, I even got a shirt of it now. So, but
I
that's
saw you buy that at Monster Palooza, I believe.
possible. That's
Yeah.
possible. I love Monster Palooza. That's my
That's
favorite.
where we
convention.
went, yeah.
Yeah.
Elliot
I saw you
Brodsky's
there.
Monster Palooza is the great. It's surpassed. To me, it's better than San Diego Comic Con. I love, not because I did a panel and got kissed on the lips by Natasha Kinski, but that didn't hurt either.
Are you guys
It's
gonna
on
see
the way
the?
to grow that big. Definitely, it's huge.
You know what? I think you got another song. You
Wait, hold on. You said, are you guys going to see what?
Also,
What
are
movie?
you guys gonna see that new Halloween that's coming out?
Yes.
Yeah, if it's Friday, yeah. Although now reviews, we've been hearing it's the greatest thing since cheese for like 6 months.
Really?
Now the reviews are starting to crash.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, one of the better one. And I haven't seen it yet, but I'm hoping it's great.
Yeah, me too. We'll see.
I'm gonna be my own critic. I never listen to that crap.
No, but these are horror nerds.
Oh,
and
okay,
and
okay.
when horror nerds are disappointed,
Right.
they scream from the rooftops. I mean, it's like this is the same crowd that when Superman versus Batman didn't rock their world, they were screaming like Warner Brothers killed their dog.
Anybody see The Nun?
I didn't see the nun.
I know the nun, Bonnie Aarons.
I did. Was that her real nose? That witch nose?
That's a real nose.
She's got a real witch nose.
Bonnie. I've seen Bonnie in a million commercials because anytime you're on auditions as a shifty type, I know I'm going to see Mukes and I know I'm going to see Bonnie. Bonnie's most famous thing is she played a homeless man in, oh man, what's that amazing lesbian love scene? The Girl from King Kong. David Lynch.
Lost me on that one, man.
David Lynch.
us.
David Lynch. What's it
Musicians,
called?
man.
Yeah, but you know a good lesbian love scene on TV.
She played a home. I can see it. She's got that nose that.
What's it called? Bonnie. This is David Lynch. Let me punch in. What's her name? The girl from King Kong. Hold on, I'm gonna look this
Jessica
up.
Lange?
No, more on the new King Kong.
Oh, the new King Kong.
The new old King Kong.
Oh, from Skull Island.
Yeah,
with,
no, before Scotland. That's Captain Marvel King Kong.
The Jack Black King Kong?
Yes.
There's so
That
much
one.
going on.
What's that girl's
Oh,
name?
That was so long.
Yeah, but you know it's King Kong beating him. You're right. It takes an hour and 10 to get to King Kong. That's insane. I don't give a damn what you did before you saw King Kong. Get right to King Kong. That's why Skull Island is so great, because you see King Kong in the first 5 minutes. But in that movie, it took longer to get to Skull Island. It took 71 minutes for the movie to show King Kong, the Peter Jackson King Kong. 71 minutes is like the running time of the original King Kong.
Yes.
Yeah.
They took that long, just dragging, and then they desexualized King Kong. Don't even get me started on that. One of the weirder, one of the weirder aspects of King Kong. Here we go. I'm going to look up this actress's name. Bonnie is in that movie as a homeless man, not King Kong, but
He had real banana breath in that movie.
he had real
Oh, no, that was at Universal Studios.
Universal Studios. You
They
can't
had the
smell his breath in a
mechanical
movie,
head.
moron.
Yeah.
Smell like
banana.
Hang on, it'll be in Mulholland Drive.
Oh, yeah.
So when you see Mulholland Drive, the biggest jump in the movie is she goes behind a dumpster and she sees a homeless man. That's Bonnie.
Wow.
And Bonnie's really great. She's the twitchy meth head in The Fighter, the movie with Christian Bale as a boxer.
Oh my gosh,
And Mark
I remember
Wahlberg.
that movie.
She's the twitchy friend. Remember, he's sweating all over the cake. He brings a cake. All his meth head friends are going to eat the cake with their hands because they're all junkies. It's a
Why
great
don't
movie.
you get her on the Jeff and Janky show?
Because that's actually a great question. Well,
How do you eat on meth is another good question.
Yeah, by the way, movies have not answered, but I know a drummer knows the answer to this.
How much more time we got, Pat?
We got 8:58, so let's plug around.
Oh, let's plug around.
We'll
man.
start with you too.
Oh man, I'm Ben. I'm in this band called Casuous, man. You can find us at Casuous_band on Instagram.
Wow, spell casuous one more time, smartass.
Casuist.
Drummer, tell us something. You're also in casuous.
I'm drummer in Casuist, spelled Casuist. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp, Spotify. Yeah. Check it out.
Wow, you got them all.
Lovely one. Once again, remind us when to vote.
November 6th, everyone please go out and vote, no matter where you're at.
And are you
And what
doing?
are you running for? Tell us.
I am running for Upland City Council District 4.
Tammy Rapp, Upland City Council District 4.
Everybody.
Are you doing anything for Halloween?
No, I'm going to be in downtown with the big festival out there, so my shop has got to be the coolest place in downtown, of course.
Good girl. Now that I know I'm no longer morally obligated to stop by, I can get right to my Halloween parties.
In costume.
Well, in costume.
I've never seen you dress up for Halloween.
I have done it on occasion, but usually when you're paid to be a monster, putting all that gunk on your face for an off day is
Every day's Halloween for you.
exactly well when
I'll
it pays.
surprise everybody with mine. I'll be down there.
Jeff will be down there as the. Well, I won't
I
make
might
that
be
joke.
on stilts. I might be. Whoa, scam likely. Okay, that's time to
Scam
shut
likely
it
is
down.
drunken. All right, hey, ladies and gentlemen, lovely Tammy Rapp, the men of casuists,
Oi.
Drix, MMA fighter, Jeffrey.
Have the Jeff and
Thank you.
Janky Show.
And then
Tune in tomorrow. We don't even
Roy
know who's gonna
the
be on
boy.
here.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Ben and Roy. Here we go. Thank you, boys. Thank you, Tammy.
Bye.
Thanks, and join us tomorrow for the Jeff and Janky Show
Yeah, see you
Hasta
tomorrow.
with the Yvette Walker. Here we go. Wow, well done, lady and gentlemen. Don't say anything objectionable. We have to shut up the. Don't say anything controversial yet. We need a picture
Or
of
does it
all
go
of
automatic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me check on the stop streaming.
you. No, all three of you. Thank you so much for
There's
making
things I
it.
need to learn here, man. I got it, you know?
Yeah.
Your songs are terrific, by the way. Thank you very much. Depressing, but terrific.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
How we like it.
It's kind of like horror movies.